Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Quana, and today I'm going to be showing you all how I transformed into Te Fiti from Disney's Moana. So jumping right in, I'm first starting by muting out the color of my brows with a white primer. I'm using the P.Louise primer in the shade white, and then I am using the Crisp Paint from P.Louise as well in the shade green to start creating my eyebrows. So I'm starting by using an angled brush and just mapping out the shape and then filling it in as I usually would with my eyebrows. For any product details, make sure to check the description box below. I'll have the products used as well as some links. Now I'm going to just start carving out the bottom of my eyebrows just to clean up the shape a little bit, and I'm also using a P.Louise base to do that. And then I'm going to be using that same base to prime my eyelids to get it ready for eyeshadow. After I have that on, I'm going to use a small beauty blender to just help blend that out, and then I'm going to move along to the eyeshadow. For eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using Juvia's Place. They have these new quad palettes. They're called the Rebel Collection, and I am using the Rebel Army. So starting with the darkest green in the palette, I'm going to start mapping out my crease, and I'm doing that just by creating a C shape going up towards my eyebrows. And then layering on top of that, I'm using a lighter green to just start blending out the shade to make it a more beautifully blended green situation going on. After that, I'm going back into the Rebel Honey and using this shimmery green to put on the eyelid space. So that space that's left open, I'm just going to pat that in and start blending it with just that same brush into the darker green shade. Now going into the Rebel Army again, I'm going to just take the darker shimmery green shade and also add that towards the end of that green. Then going back in with that crisp paint that I used for the brows, and this is a very unnecessary step, but I just wanted to be extra and create a little wing. Can definitely skip that. I did this look for Tik Tok as well, and when I did it that time, I didn't even use the green liner at all, so can definitely skip that. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some lashes, and then we can go ahead and move into the face. So to prime, I'm using this e.l.f. primer just to make sure that it helps to fill in any of my pores, and then I'm going to start painting myself green. So for this paint, I'm using there's a brand on Amazon called CC Beauty, and they have a paint palette. So I'm just using the green in that palette to create my green skin. And then from there, I'm just using a flat top foundation brush and taking my time blending this in just to make sure that I have the best coverage that I can have. Now that I've finished up on that, I'm going to move into highlighting, and I'm going to highlight in the same way I normally would my face, but today I am using the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is one that is used for color correcting, so it's the green one, but it is lighter, so I figured this would be a lot easier than trying to mix paints to highlight. So I'm doing that under my eyes, on my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and on my chin. And then I'm just going to blend that out with a beauty blender. With what was left on my forehead to highlight, I also took that and used that product to carve out the top of my brows just to help sharpen those a little bit more as well. Again, that's not a step you have to do, but I wanted a really glam looking Te Fiti, so making sure to pay attention to those details. Once everything is completely blended out, I'm showing y'all my neck here because I went ahead and powdered my neck as soon as I finished getting paint on it, because I do have a fatter neck and there's rolls in it, so the paint kind of creases in it if you don't set it really quickly. So I set that first and then I set it again. So I set my entire face with the Coty Airspun powder in translucent, and now I am looking a little bit ghostly, but we're going to go back and add those shadows back in later. So going back into the eyes, I'm using that Army palette again, using the same shades I used on the top and just creating my lower lash line. And I'm using the NYX pencil, jumbo pencil in white to just help to make my eyes look a little bit bigger. Now I'm going into another Juvia's Place palette that has this green shade, and I'm just using that green to contour / bronze my face. You can use any green powder or shadow that you have. It doesn't really matter. That was just the first one I saw, so that's what I used. I wanted to have freckles for this look, so I used a brown mascara and just kind of blotted it on my face and then used my fingers to help spread the dots around. Again, an unnecessary step, but I thought it was cute, so you can do it with that or with like green and white. Using that same crisp paint again, I'm using that as well for my lips, for my lipstick for the day. So I'm just taking that on like an eyeshadow brush that's flat, and I'm using that to create my lips. I really like this because it was creamy, so it didn't dry my lips out at all, and it worked perfect for this. To add a little bit more depth to the lips, I went back into that Rebel Army palette and just used the dark green shade in it to add some shadows to the outside of my lips, and then I added a clear gloss on top. Now using the She Glam palette, I'm taking that white up in the top and I'm using that as my highlight for today. It looks white in the palette, but it's really like a light green shimmery shade, so I use that just on the high points of my face, my cheeks, my nose, the inner corners of my eyes, as well as my brow bone to just add a little pop of color there. Then I'm going back into my face and using this Juvia's Place blush palette. This was the pink shade in the palette, and I'm just lightly dusting that over my cheeks in the center. And then to diffuse that color a little bit, I used the beauty blender that I used to blend out my concealer earlier to just kind of fade that out. Now we're all done with the face, and we're just going to move right into doing our hair. I just popped on this green wig that I bought off Amazon, as well as this crown also from Amazon, and that really completes the face for the day. So I just added some little vines, and that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave me a like, leave a comment down below and tell me what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see you in my next video.